Good morning to all. Today we are going to see something about containers. Then we are going to see something about Dockers. Then we are going to see something about hyperversion. Then we are going to see something about clusters allocations. Then we are going to see multiple device brokerage. These are the topics which we are going to cover in our class today. So what do you mean by container? Containers are nothing but just one second. Containers are nothing but the package of software that contain all the necessary element to run on an environment. What does it mean? It contain all the environment which can run on uh, any platform. Take an example of your Google Gmail. Take an example of your Rediff Mail. Take an example of Google Drive, and everything. You can open on Windows, we can open on Linux, we can open on everything. It's just like you are having a virtualization of your operating system. That we call it as a container, which can be repeatable, which contains self environment. Software runs with a different environment. That is part of a container. So these are the benefits. These are the benefits of a repeatable self control. These are the benefits of a repeatable, self-contained software runs on the environment, faster to launch. These are the parts of container. Now, what do you mean by Docker? The Dockers are nothing but which has a software which we can build a software with libraries, software tools, code, and runtimes. If it's just an example of your PaaS. What do you mean by PaaS? Which have a software, but you need to build a software library. We have got a library, other things available, but we need to build a software. Whereas as everything is available, you need to start from scratch. Whereas in past we've got a software and libraries available, you just need to go through some definition of the part, then we can go doc. That is a part. Whereas SaaS is nothing but you just log into the software or an email, you do your part and just log off. This is the difference. The Docker is something about same as PaaS. PaaS Docker is a software platform that enable you to build, test, and deploy application quickly. You can run containers on Dockers. That is a part of it. Means you have so many containers, but you need to have a Docker to run on that one. The diagram which I'm going to show you is this one. We have got Dockers, and we have got 3 to 4 containers available. And this is EC instant, which I'm going to show you in the lab how it is going to run. And this is a part of your operating system. And if you don't have a Dockers, every time there is a new EC instance. So one Docker can able to help you about 3 to 4 containers. One Docker can able to help you up 3 to 4 containers. The example which I can give you is that your Word file, you can have spell check, you can have all the other requirements like formatting and other things are updated in that one. This is a part of your Dockers one. Then we are going to see this is something about Dockers. Docker is a software platform that enable to you build, test, and deploy application quickly. This is a part of it. And then we are going to see this part. What do you mean by hyperversion? This is a very important. Without this virtual machine, we are going to see this is difference. We are not going to see it. Now coming to this one, hyperversion. Hyperversion was created in 1965 by IBM to how they can allocate the resources. One operating system can be allotted to different computers. That was the concept, or one hardware concept, which we can allot to different operating system. That was the concept in hyperversion. The commonly known as guest on the host machine, which we can able to do it. So hyperversion was created in 1965 to work on IBM 360 or 65, which was originally designed to share a system. That's what I told you, share a system, share the resources. How you are going to share? Through virtual machine. How we are going to create a virtual machine, how you are going to share the resources between them. That is the major concept in hyperversion. And this is where the hyperversion comes into existence. Now, if you see the diagram, next one, this is your hardware, which is allocated to you. And this is your hyperversion and virtual operating system. For an example, let's take an example on the next slide. It's already been explained, but I'm giving you an example. Like I have got an operating system and I have got a system configuration of 8 GB RAM and 256 GB hard disk or something like that. If I want to start install one virtual machine, I can allocate 1 GB or 2 GB RAM and about 50 GB hard disk on this one. This is one. It goes up. Second one, if I install this hyperversion, then second one I've already got 8 GB. So I've already got, just 1 second. I've got 8 GB. I've already used 2 GB here, then 2 GB here. Just 1 second. Then 2 GB here, then 2 GB here. This is 2 GB. So this becomes 6 GB. And I've given 50, 50, 50. So I've already given 150 to them, 150 GB. I've got 8 GB RAM, or I can take 16 GB RAM and 500 GB hard disk. So I have already allocated how much? About 6 GB RAM and about 150 GB hard disk. But still, I've got 350 GB hard disk and 8 GB RAM for my operating system. So I've got 3 operating system. One is Linux, other one I have got Windows, other I have got some other operating system. So what does it mean? Hyperversion is something like that which is used to divide your hardware resources. This is my hardware resources which has got 16 GB RAM, which has got 250 GB hard disk and other things. Sorry, 500 GB hard disk, but it is divided into different parts. This is what an hyperversion do. Hyperversion is a hardware software. Hyperversion is nothing but hardware software or a firm capable of creating virtual machine and that can manage allocate resources to them. We can divide these resources as many times as you want, which we virtually call as guest. So what I have created here, I have created 3 guests. I have created 3 guests and I have allocated their required resources of 2 GB RAM, 50 GB hard disk. So 3 guests I have allotted 3 GB RAM, 2 GB RAM and 50 GB hard disk. That is, I've already given to 6 GB RAM and 150 GB hard disk. And the remaining part is about 8 GB RAM or 10 GB RAM, something like that, plus 350 GB hard disk is with me. So that, for example, a PC of 8 GB, that's what I've given you an example, 8 GB of RAM install, and the Windows operating system, if you want to run operating system Linux instead of you can use virtual machine by allocating 2 GB of RAM. That's what I have given you. So I have got 16 GB RAM in place of 8 GB. I have taken 16 GB RAM and I have created one virtual machine which can have Linux. What are the advantages if I use this one? This is what example. Typically, that's part. Typically, when you replicate the virtual machine, you can have entire volume manually. Using hyperversion, you cannot do it. You can just replicate a part of it. You can replicate a part of it. Part of your hardware is used. Part of your hardware is used. This part. If your business multiple servers, yes, you can use the multiple servers. Like I said, I have got Windows server. One I have given a Linux server. Other server. Hyperversion can use for this one. Desktop visualization can usually be help for this one. These are the parts of it. What are the advantages of it? What for advantage? One of the main benefit of virtual machine is that one of the, if you have 3 virtual machine, let's take an example. This is my system. I've got 3 virtual machine. If one get crashed, no problem. I can able to replicate the data. There is no other problem. And more important, I have a commonly used for security purposes, because if you download anything here, this been separated from your main system. If something goes wrong, if the problem or any security reason comes up, this is secure. You can able to delete this part. The main reason of hyperversion accompanying virtual machine is the security purposes. If you see this one, this is security purposes. It creates another layer between your operating system and whatever questionable file you might be downloaded. That is necessary part of it. One of the main benefit of running virtual machine is one of them is crash. It doesn't affect the other virtual machine. If that's get affected, there is no issue. This virtual machine is running, this virtual machine running. There is no part. Another part is that if this Linux is, if you have using this Linux, no problem. You can able, once this is crashed, you have already one more Linux you can able to create and you can able to run this one. The other part, if you download any harmful file or something like that, if there has been security breach, you can able, this is safe, then this is a problem. There's no bit, and your hardware is going to, or your system is going to not get affected. This is the major advantage of your hyperversion. There are two type of hyperversion, which is one called is bare metal, and the other one is hosted on embedded system. We are going to see this one. So we have seen what do you mean by Dockers, or what do you mean by container. Container is nothing your Gmail, sorry, Dockers, which can able to which you can able which you can able to run. Then we are going to see hyperversion, and then it is divided into two parts. What I mean bare metal, another part. What do you mean by hyperversion one? In hyperversion one, the kernel or the hyperversion is installed on operating system, on your operating system, on your desktop. Bare, what do you call this one is as bare metal. What do you call it as bare metal? Bare metal. Bare metal, which is stored here. Now, what is bare metal hyper installed directly on your hardware? Directly on your hardware. Bare metal hyper typically faster to access because it is access to your underlying hardware. If you see it, you can able, the hyperversion is directly accessing your hardware. So you can have one virtual machine, you can have one virtual machine, you can have one virtual machine, and it you are using directly on your very fast. Since it does not comply with other application of OS, it available physical hardware is available. You can able to use it, and it's more secure. Why we just come up? Because it's on your hardware. It's everything is secure. Now other part is this one, type 2. Type 2, what do you call it as? Hosted. We call it as hosted. It is already been mentioned here, which is called it as hosted. What is that one? This is your hardware, your operating system. This is hyperversion, and it is been created like on your cloud. You have different hyperversions available there. Means on one cloud, you download the hyperversion operating system, then you download the hyperversion. Based on your hyperversion, you are creating 2 or 3 operating system, whereas here we are doing on your system, whereas here we are doing on cloud. This is host. So however, the host hyperversion is significantly easier to set up and get running. You can use more user friendly operating systems. They are often used test and development processes. You can just download it, you can use it. If it is wet, you can use this. Otherwise, you can just like VM own Dell software or Hyper, Microsoft created their own purposes. So when you download this hyperversion, you can able to create number of operating system or number of virtual machine on. You can have one or two or one. Let's take an example. For an example, this is myself, which I have through internet. I have logged in on a cloud. This is internet. Through internet, I have just logged in on a cloud. Then I downloaded hyperversion, which is already there on my login. With this, I created 3 to 4 virtual machine, one with this Linux, other was Windows, and other with username and password. Whenever for this, I'm using this part for this part. But the major part is that I have collected on a hosted system. Means somewhere down the line, I'm using my hyperversion or my software. Whereas here, I'm buying a 2 GB RAM, other things and everything I'm buying, I'm using it. Whereas here, I'm using on my system. This is major difference between this part and other part. Okay, now different between container and hyperversion. We are allow application to run independently in an operating system, allow operating system independently from underlying hardware. You can just operating system you can run anywhere. Underlying hardware, whatever the hardware you give, based on that one it is run. Sorry, can run any operating system. Virtual machine is very important. Extremely portable. Yes, it is extremely portable. Multiple operating system, bare metal, hyperversion on top of a hosted method. There are two type of things. Okay. So basically, they can ask you about containers, hyperversion, and everything. These are the parts of your hyperversion. In order to go to the hyperversion, I need to go to the container. In order to go to the container, I need to explain you the Dockers. So these are the parts. Now next, move on to other part, which is called resource cluster. What do you mean by resource cluster, which is already available here? The resource cluster machine is used to combine 3, 4 resources in order to produce a required output. In order to produce a required output, combining 2 or 3 machine or server in order to geographically divide it. They are divided different part, but you combine them and then you produce a required output based on that one. This is called resource cluster. Now next part is that one. A resource cluster architecture is a really high speed decided network connectivity or cluster between IT resources, instant or communicate upon workload distribution, task scheduling, data sharing, and system synchronization. A cluster management platform is running to distribute it the middleware. We all see about this one. Now let's move on to commonly used cluster. There are server cluster. What do you mean by physical? A server, many 2 or 3 physical clusters are joined together. Virtual server, physical or virtual server clusters are increased performance joined together to give you better performance because they can share memory, other things. Based on that one, server cluster are used to increase the performance. Data cluster is used to improve the data availability. If 2 or 3 cluster are joined together, and whatever the data is available, it can able to access very good. If 2 or 3 clusters join together, then we can get the data very fast. This is when you get the data availability, we call it a server cluster. When the data is availability, we call it a database cluster. And the other part is that larger data set cluster distributed. What do you mean by you have already data is available? So high performance data is easily accessible. How it is partitioning of the data. There are 3 clusters and data is already partitioned and kept it. You can able to get that partition very easily. We can call it a large data set cluster. Large data set cluster. Data partitioning and distributed is implemented so that the target data can easily be effectively potentially without compromising data integrity and accuracy. These are the part of this one. So what do you mean by this one? Clustering is nothing but we are going to divide, we are going to combine 2 or 3 nodes. We call it as a server or a cloud servers, which is distributed throughout the geographically combined together in order to get the required output, in order to get the required resources easily. How can we easily when this if you can able to if that combination of nodes, if you get that data very easily, high performance means data is available, then physically, then we call it as increased performance, we call it as a server cluster. If data is increased performance availability, we call it a database cluster. If database is distributed properly, we call it as a data set cluster. These are the 3 parts of it. Now we will stop here. We will move on to the next class in coming next Wednesday. Okay, thank you very much.